Playmates by Mabel, illustrated by George Lambert. Sunnie was quite a little fellow when Don came from his cold Swiss mountain home to live with him in England. When Don first introduced himself, Sunnie was very much afraid of him and hid himself behind Frank's chair. But after a while, with Frank's persuasion, he fetched Don a biscuit and summoned up sufficient courage to pat Don's head, as he sat on the hearth rug critically surveying his young master, and so gentle was he that Sunnie soon lost his timidity and they became fast friends. Don was always willing to give Sunnie a ride on his back, and even submitted to having his tail brushed with Sunnie's hairbrush, but most of all he liked going for a long romp with Frank and his schoolfellows on half-holidays. When Sunnie was old enough to join them, Don was very attentive to him, and if either of the boys attempted to bully him, he would give vent to a low growl, as much as to say, "If you dare hurt him, I am here to fight for him, and then you would stand a poor chance." It was one day in March that the boys had arranged to have a game at hare and hounds. Don was to accompany them, of course, for after he had proved to them what a capital playfellow he was, they could not do without him, although I'm afraid they forgot that Don would find the hare in no time and the game would soon be over. But they had a good run in spite of this difficulty, and when Don reached home he was very glad of a big drink of water and a short nap. There came one day in Don's life which was never forgotten by Frank and Sunnie. All three started out for a long run. The ground was covered with snow, and the east wind was as cutting as it could possibly be, making their noses and cheeks blue with cold and numbing their fingers so that they could hardly feel the snowballs with which they pelted each other. So intent were they on their fun that they did not notice what had become of Don. They called him several times, but no Don came. Presently they heard his sharp bark and saw him coming round the corner, carrying something in his mouth. They went to see what it was, and to their surprise they found it to be a little baby wrapped in a very old shawl. Don had found the child half buried in the snow and nearly frozen to death. Frank took up the poor little thing in his arms, and they all ran home as fast as they could, and Snowball, for that was the pet name they had chose for this little stranger, was put to bed. After much care and nursing, she quite recovered, and they found in her another happy playmate. The end of Don's deeds.